Some House Democrats are bracing for what could happen on January 6, 2025, if Vice President Harris defeats Donald Trump and Republicans keep their House majority. Politico reporting that while many Democrats hope to flip the House, others fear that might not happen. And they're very concerned that Speaker Mike Johnson, who essentially led House Republicans in asking the Supreme Court to overturn the 2020 election, would now be in a position to obstruct the next one. For more, I want to bring in two experts. Retired Marine Corps Lieutenant Colonel Amy McGrath. She's a former U.S. Senate candidate and founder of the Democratic Majority Action PAC. And Mike Murphy, veteran Republican strategist and co-director of the Center for the Political Future at the University of Southern California. Amy, Politico says that Mike Johnson is dismissing these concerns, saying Democrats, they're just lying to raise money to flip the House. What do you think?
Well, I think Mike Johnson has proven to be a lapdog of Donald Trump. And he's going to try everything. If he has the power again to do it, he'll try everything to, overturn the election. And if it doesn't go Trump's way, that's what I think. And this is why the down ballot races are so important, because we only need 4 seats. Democrats only need 4 seats to flip the House. So we gotta think about that.
Mike, Republicans who are close to Johnson say no. He is not Trump's lapdog. They cite the example that Mike Johnson supports supporting Ukraine. Donald Trump doesn't. That's their evidence that he doesn't just follow Trump. What do you think?
Well, I think it pays to be paranoid when everybody's out to get you. So if I were the Democrats, I'd be prepared too. Although they made some really big rules changes with the Electoral Count Reform Act.
Explain this.
Yeah, so basically the Senate...
While we were all sleeping.
Well, we were all sleeping. The grown-ups got together and probably Mitch McConnell's hideaway office of both parties and said, all right, we got to patch the software here because we're working on 1898 rules where it was all, well, your honor will honor bound you. Now we're in the Trump era, so some of the glue's not there anymore. So they bolted down a lot of procedural stuff. So one is a lot harder to do. Johnson does have a history of monkeying around with some very dubious arguments last time. But I think the bulwarks are there. I think the Dems are half worried about this appropriately, and nobody in politics, 50 days before an election passes up a golden direct mail fundraising opportunity. So I think everybody's kind of right about each other on this.
J.D. Vance and Donald Trump have made it clear. They don't care in terms of Springfield, Ohio, if it's an outright lie about the stealing and eating of animals. They want immigration to be the focus day in and day out. So is there an opportunity for Democrats here to point out the dangerous, baseless, vile lies that they're pushing about Springfield, and at the same time say, but guess what? Springfield, like lots of other communities, has welcomed lots of immigrants legally, and they're at a capacity problem. Let's talk about how we can solve that. Is there a way for Democrats right now to point out the horrible behavior on Trump and Vance's part, but actually say, but there is an issue, and let's start to solve it? Because Trump's doing neither.
Yeah, and I think there is a way for Democrats to do that, and they have to do that because immigration is on people's minds. At the same time, what J.D. Vance has done in lying about his own constituents, hurting the people of his own state. I mean, this man doesn't even deserve to be a U.S. senator, when you do that. And I think it's really important for Democrats to call that out and to make sure that the American people know, hey, these folks who are here illegally, they're doing, just as Governor DeWine, the Republican governor of Ohio, has said they're hardworking people who are coming here to fill jobs that needed to be filled. Springfield, Ohio is only about an hour and a half from where I live. And now we have people that have bomb threats because of J.D. Vance. Because of Donald Trump.
Schools in his district are closed down because of it. But despite all the things that he said and the chaos that he caused, here's what he said today when he was talking about attempts to assassinate the former president.
Again, 2 assassination attempts in as many months, and I think that it's time to say to the Democrats, to the media, to everybody that has been attacking this man and trying to censor this man for going on 10 years, cut it out or you're going to get somebody killed.
I've been in politics a long time, about 4 decades, and this guy amazes me. And I thought I've seen it all. I personally know about it because in 2017, J.D. Vance called me up and asked me about running a campaign for U.S. Senate as an anti-Trump Republican. It's
Whoa,
unbelievable.
hold on. Slow
Yeah.
this down.
Yeah.
He called you on the phone in 2017.
We got to
and
do
said
something
what?
about this Trump guy. I want to run for Senate in the Republican primary as anti-Trump Republican. And I was anti-Trump. Said, sure, let's do it. Going to be uphill. Probably going to lose. Little did I know that next thing you know, he's looking up Faust on Google and making the master plan here. So I'm stunned by this. It's so corrosive, but I know what the strategy is behind it. He's doing the pro wrestling villain. JD, all of America is going to hate you, but keep repeating this crap because you make everybody talk about it, and it might help Trump net to debate whether or not they're missing schnauzers because of cannibals in Springfield rather than real issues. So there is a method to his madness. There was a famous political scientist named George Lakoff who wrote a great book, Don't Think of an Elephant. So now you're thinking of an elephant. So that's kind of what J.D. Vance is trying to do. He's trying to disrupt the conversation. Everyone's going to hate him, but vice presidents don't deliver the vote. The president does. I don't think it'll work, but that's what they're trying to do here. So he is going to be spewing crazy stuff around the clock. It's outrageous and shameless and even, frankly, Orwellian as it is when he says that it's Democratic speech that caused these tragic attempts on Donald Trump's life. No, it's the coarse political dialogue that we could all do a lot to pull back. But the idea that Trump is without some authorship of the new tone in American politics over the last 5 years is completely
Brother,
nuts.
please.